Tonight, a 22-year-old son, husband, officer, and friend was killed because he did what we asked him to do. Countless officers lined the halls of this hallway after carrying him in and grieve for their brother, while praying with everything they have for the other. I am struggling to find the words to express the tragedy we are enduring. We're mourning and we're angry. The NYPD, New York City, all of us. As I stand here in Harlem Hospital tonight, a New York City police officer has lost his life, murdered, and another one is fighting for his life to survive. They were listening to a mother who called needing help for her son. And as the officers were compassionately trying to provide aid to a 47-year-old man, he suddenly, without warning, opened fire on them. In a moment, a young 22-year-old life was ended, and another forever altered. We have 4 times this month rushed to the scene of NYPD officers shot by violent criminals in possession of deadly, illegal guns. 4 officers, 5 officers shot.
Normally, when we do briefings like this, it's just the police officials who stand at this podium. I did not want that tonight. I wanted everyone to be in this same room. I wanted everyone to be here to understand. It is our city against the killers. It is our city against the killers. This was just not an attack on 3 brave officers. This was an attack on the city of New York. We must save this city together. And let me be clear, there are no gun manufacturers in New York City. We don't make guns here. How are we removing thousands of guns off the street and they still find their way into New York City? And we have witnessed the failure on a federal level to stop the flow of guns to this city. We are not going to live under the gun of dangerous people in New York City. We're going to honor the memory of this officer lost to gun violence by standing united against these killers and those who are arming them. And I thank these men and women who wore that uniform, wear the uniform that I wore. And countless number of times we had to go to hospitals and visit loved ones, but to knock on doors and tell family members they lost their family to gun violence. And now you have to do it with one of your own. But I'm going to ask you something. No matter how painful this moment is, don't give up on these people in this city. Don't give up. Don't feel as though that they don't want you to do your job. Twitter and Instagram and social media, they're not the people you're protecting. Right. They want you here to do your job. No matter who's the mayor, no matter who's the governor, no matter who's the elected official, you have done your job, and let's continue to do so. Let's protect the people of this city and not allow anger to get in our way of protecting those who are living with this violence every day. We are going to protect our city. That's our promise and commitment. It's a painful moment for us. Every time the commissioner and I had to visit a hospital, from January 1st, seeing an officer shot in the head, seeing an officer shot in the leg on Staten Island, responding to a domestic dispute. It's a painful moment.
You know, as we ran into this hospital today, you don't know what to expect, and there were hundreds of police officers running down the street, dropping their cars on the corner, running to this hospital. They were running to this hospital because they just carried two brothers out of a hallway into this hospital to try to save their lives. Hundreds and hundreds of police officers are standing here today because their hearts tell them they have to be here because they feel like they're alone. We got to end that here today. Our hearts are broken. We're in shock. Our knees are buckling. And we're angry because we've been here before. We're angry because we saw it coming. We're angry because we said it was going to happen, and it happened again. We carried our brother here. We'll shoulder him out this evening. We'll stand in the hallway and we'll pray for a family that's hoping their son, their husband, they come home. We're going to carry a New York City police officer out of this hospital, and we're going to salute the best we can. We're going to do the best we can, and we're going to line the church in front of that church, synagogue, mosque, and do the best we can. But after that, conversation that's real. Laws that are real. Support that's real, not press conferences. Let's get voting and give us what we need.
It's just a horrific day for the New York City and the NYPD, you know, and I just want to, you know, pray for the officer who's lost his life, the officer who's fighting for his life, and for the two families, you know, please, and for these officers who are out there doing the job every day. So I'm just going to walk you through the investigation. At 6:15 this evening, at 119 West 135th Street, apartment 1D, police officers from the 3-2 precinct arrived to a 911 call of a family dispute. The 911 caller was a female who stated that she was disputing with her son. She mentioned no injuries and no weapons. Upon entering the apartment, the officers were met by that female caller and her son. After a brief conversation, the officers were informed that her other son, whom she was disputing with, was in the back bedroom. This apartment is an open one-bedroom apartment. As you walk in, there is a living room, a kitchen, and a 30-foot-long hallway that has a closet, a bathroom, and at the end, the bedroom. One officer remained with the two family members, while two other officers go to the back bedroom. This hallway is very tight and narrow. As our first officers approach the bedroom, the door swings open and numerous shots are fired, striking both officers, one fatally, and one is here in Harlem Hospital in critical condition. As the perpetrators attempt to exit, he is confronted by our third officer, who fires 2 rounds, striking him in the right arm and head. Our perpetrator is LaShawn McNeil. He's a male, 47 years old. He has one prior arrest in New York City for a felony conviction of narcotics in 2003, in which he is on probation for. He has 4 arrests outside of New York City, one in South Carolina for an unlawful possession of a weapon in 1998, one for an assault on a police officer in Pennsylvania in 2002, a felony drug in 2003, and a misdemeanor narcotics in 2003 in Pennsylvania. Recovered at that scene is a Glock 45 high-capacity magazine, which holds up to 40 additional rounds. This weapon right here. That gun was stolen from Baltimore in 2017. We are working with our Joint Firearms Task Force and the local ATF to further trace this gun. This is a still active crime scene, and the investigation is continuing. We are working through why this brutal, senseless, and ambush of 2 of our police officers occurred. We're asking anyone in the community who has information to reach out to the 32nd Detective Squad or Crime Stoppers. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the Police Commissioner for some final words.
To my NYPD, our NYPD, your NYPD, thank you for what you do and what you face. This city appreciates it. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. You are not alone. I support you in what you do. We are not going to answer your questions. We hope our prayers are answered. Good night.